can take a look at what we really have. So these are the ladies today on set. I have got Teresia Wavinya again. She's the general member of LSK, elect advocate of the High Court, who is also Zulfa, Roble, who is an advocate of the High Court, LSK Upcountry representative. You'll have to explain to us what is Upcountry representative, all right? Otto joining me shortly. She is the LSK Nairobi representative, and Gloria Kimani, she called herself GK, advocate of the High Court and LSK Nairobi Council member-elect. Okay, ladies, you have this. First question, how does it feel, Zulfa, to be in that position?
It feels good,
right?
That my colleagues trusted me to serve them in the council. And it was challenging, campaigns were challenging, but I'm grateful, feel good that my colleagues have trusted me now, and I'm aware to whom much is given, much is expected. So we have a lot to do for our members, for lawyers.
The battle was that bad, I would imagine.
It was tough. You know, you have to crisscross the whole country for all the positions in the LSK Council. So you have to go and talk to lawyers across the country, convince them why are you the best candidate for the job.
Okay. Kimani.
Yes.
You said now it's time for you to do some Uji power. Why now you can enjoy your Uji power comfortably? Why?
As Zulfa has said, it was a tough terrain for us. We had to go from Mombasa to Kisumu. Like for her, she had to leave Garissa and come to all these other areas. So we also didn't get to enjoy like our normal day. For 2 months, it was apart, and we had to intense campaigns and move everywhere. So right now is when we are going back to our normal routine of the daily things, and adjusting is quite difficult. And we are doing it right now.
You're doing it right now?
Yes, I'm enjoying my Uji power. Yes.
Wavinya, Uji power. I would imagine sleepless nights, you know, the numerous meetings and, you know, lobbying across the country, as your colleagues have put it. How was it for you?
It is an experience that you cannot explain it unless you actually partake in it. Because you meet colleagues across the country. Majority are very friendly, warm, embracing. Others, they don't see the essence of even having the election, but they recognize that LSK needs a change, so they'll still give you an opportunity to talk to them. But above all, it is the trust that our members have put upon us. They have decided, among all the people who are in that category, like I'll speak about my category, the general member representative, we were 8 of us, and out of those 8, I was the youngest. And I managed to be among the people who are elected. So it is not something you take for granted. It is something that you appreciate every day, that members of the noble profession, advocates, decided to trust in you to propel their profession in the next 2 years with nobility. Yes.
I like that, noble profession. Pontius Pilate was a judge, if I would recall it. So legal profession was in the Bible.
Yes.
So as journalists.
One of the oldest profession.
The same category. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Still continue the discussion here today, being Wednesday. They usually say it's ladies' night. I don't know who came up with that. Today is ladies' night. Why don't you have men's night? I don't understand. Men's night. But we'll find out why it's not. Irene joining me on set. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
We've just decided to continue the discussion, but well and good. You've just joined us. Karibu sana to the program. So let me start with you again, Zulfa. You said that the battle was that intense, you know, intense moments of sleepless night. You know, you have to convince your colleagues across the country. But at the end of the day, you had some big names in the battle. When you were submitting your nomination papers and you looked at that list, first of all, what went through your mind? You almost gave up?
No, I did not almost give up, because the whole the process is you must first believe in yourself. Before you ask others to believe in you, you have to first believe in yourself and put yourself out there. Say, I have something to offer. I believe I have something to offer, I'm going to put myself out there so that my colleagues can look at me and look at the others who I'm competing with and decide who among us will serve them best, they believe will serve them best.
So what are these things that you believe in?
Well, I believe in a society that works for all lawyers, even especially those of us who are far from the center.
Yeah.
I practice law in Garissa. It's a relatively small practice center, but we also have challenges that are unique to us, that are different from the challenges people in Nairobi have. Imagine it's the same for people practicing in Busia or practicing in Maralal, for instance. So sometimes, because for a long time, most of the people who get elected to LSK practice in the center in Nairobi. It's important to have that voice so that we can also address the issues that those further from the center face.
Yeah, so that's why you are an upcountry representative?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So GK, at the end of the day, what do you stand for?
Mostly what Gloria stands for is accountability. Accountability, we have been elected by our members, and they entrust us with everything to take care of their social welfare, to take care of their practice. So we, at the end of the day, leaders are accountable to the people who voted for them. And what I believe mostly in is accountability in the people who entrusted you and voted for you and put you in this position for you to serve them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is going to be your clarion call for the next 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wavinya?
I stand for the nobility of the profession by safeguarding our profession away from these quacks and masqueraders who have had the audacity to actually infiltrate our profession, to take our jobs, to make a mockery out of our profession. You know, when an advocate is or a person who's admitted to be an advocate, we all have a database that contains all our names. When someone who's not an advocate or a quack and decides to practice law and they go and mess a client's matter, there's no way you can hold them accountable, because if you come and report to LSK, we don't have them in our database.
Yeah.
So I stand for taking them away from our profession. We have been doing this at the Nairobi branch, where Gloria and I serve as council members before we were elevated to the national office. And I want to ensure, as a general member, it is something that we do for all the branches for LSK, so that they know that you're going to breathe fire upon them. If they want to practice law, let them go to law school. Let them be admitted, and let them come back, and we'll embrace them.
Yes.
Thank you.
So what happens in this case when, in this scenario, a quack, quote unquote, all right, I had some cases, some of them he won. I cannot ascertain that. So what happens in such a case? Do you revisit such a case? Do you open that file afresh?
Unfortunately, in the scenario that the other counterpart, who's an advocate, recognizes that this person is not an advocate, they will have all those proceedings quashed. Now imagine this client has used their money on this person. All the time, the resources that have been wasted handling that matter, be it the court's time, be it the government's resources through the courts and judicial officers, be it the client themselves, all that has to be quashed down because someone decided to do the wrong thing. So I stand for the right thing.
You stand for the right thing?
Yes.
How did it feel when your name went out there, that you're an advocate of quacks?
When we started this initiative back two years ago, as Nairobi branch, because matters welfare and practice, they are under the branches. It was not easy because we are young. We did not have the full capacity in terms of resources. So we had to think out of the box on how we can bring in the other stakeholders, be it the police, be it the DPP, so that we get the support. So initially, we had not figured it out 100, but we managed, and we've been doing it. So far, we have arrested more than 13 quacks here in Nairobi.
That's a huge number.
Yes.
All right.
And 2 in Nakuru. And we'll continue until we cleanse our profession.
I'll get back to that shortly. Irene, karibu sana. Let me get your mic. At the end of the day, you've won. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Well, it's a bit surreal. First, I'm very happy. I put in so much work because for me, I was the new entrant. I had not been in branch before. I was not in council. I had not vied for any position before, so I was basically starting from scratch. So that meant that I had to go to the people and introduce myself to the advocates. So, and I had to put in so much effort. And it's eventually paid off. And now I am actually very happy. And I can say that hard work pays. Yes.
Hard work pays.
Yes.
So goes the cliche. You know, Zulfa, that story opens a whole point of an inspiration. You know, you can start from somewhere. The audacity of hope, or Barack Obama, the audacity of hope. You delve yourself there, you drown yourself, you dig yourself in the deep waters, and here you are. Again, when you look at the entire structure, some of them are saying that you didn't have resources. Campaigning and, you know, crisscrossing the country, marshalling your colleagues, but here you are. Allow me to ask you this. Some of the big names had political backing. Did you have a political backing? Do you have a political father or godmother? Did you?
No, I do not have a political...
It could be safe to say no, because now you're in the position.
No, it's true. I do not have a political godfather or godmother. I'm just an advocate with a small practice in Garissa. And I decided to try. And luckily, my colleagues entrusted me. It is, of course, it's expensive, crisscrossing the country in terms of both time and money. And for us as young advocates, our time is really limited. You know, we do not have much. We have to attend. I have to attend to my practice, and I have to campaign. I have to go and see advocates. So it is tough. Sometimes it's one of the barriers to entry. Resources. You look at will I really be able to do this in terms of resources?
You want to make a step then, like, wait a minute. I saw somebody coming here, and the way aliingia hapa kwa hii room, you freeze. But Gloria, you'd imagine waking up in the morning, you have that burning desire that I have to make it either way. We've had so many women who've been at the helm of LSK, and being, again, the president is a woman, the second one after Waziri, Omamo. Look at it this way. What is your projection? Have you just started?
I think it's a very big win for the woman. A very big win for the woman. One, for lawyers to entrust. She's actually the first president, woman president of the Law Society of Kenya. Rachel Omamo was the chair. And I think it's a very big win, especially as we are going forward looking forward to Women's Day on Friday. I think it's a very big win for the woman. And I think this is now the challenge. Is she going to work? And I believe people have entrusted her. They have seen her work as she started as a Nairobi representative, where Otto and I sit, and then she went to the vice president, and now she's the president. She has shown that she has worked all through that she has been given powers by the people to work, and I think we are headed in the right direction. We are actually headed in the right direction, and now seeing that majority of the Law Society of Kenya is the president likes to call it, the president-elect likes to call it purple, and I think being more of women, I think people are now believing in women leadership, and how it's going to go, I think, will be measured by that. Yes.
She's talked about quirks.
Yes.
How does that really affect you as a person when you have got quirks in the profession? We also have quirks in our profession, by the way.
You do?
Yes, we have them. How does it affect you?
Unqualified people, how personally it affects me. Unqualified people being in a space they do not belong actually affects that kind of profession. It affects the practice, how they practice, because they give you low standards, and actually people get to think that maybe lawyers have low standards, but that's not actually the case. That is because unqualified people came into the profession and they're spoiling the profession. So the profession name being spoiled as a young advocate, it also affects me, because people do not believe in me as a young advocate or as an advocate. They're saying, if they can go to court and win and they do not have certificates, why can't we do it? Secondly, they take up the spaces that belong to advocates. So it affects their bread and butter. It affects me because I cannot put food on the table. I cannot pay rent. So those are the things we need to look at, and that's how it actually affects us. And that's why we were very strong in fighting masqueraders, and we'll continue fighting masqueraders.
Yes. And the dispensation of unfair justice, because you have got people who are not qualified going before the courts. But then, did you have a godmother, godfather, politically speaking?
I did not, having my name as GK, but people believed in me. Even going as GK and telling people my name is GK, Gloria Kimani, they did not affiliate me to any government affiliations. because they knew the work that I had done. And no, I am not a state project. I do not have a godfather or mother anywhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a state project?
I'm not.
All of you are not?
Yeah. We had, as Zulfa was mentioning, as a young council, this is my 6th year, we don't have big coffers to support us. So it was a real struggle. You balance at night, you're working, you have to wake up at 6 to post online, to go to door, finish in the evening, you work so that you'll be able to sustain those travels. Otherwise, give up. But there's no space for giving up. There's no relenting.
No relenting. I would imagine, perhaps Irene, just say yes, you had.
I'm the first in my line to actually be a lawyer. So trust me, there's nobody out there who would... I do not have any godfathers or mothers. Yeah, so my family actually looks up to me. And when I called my mother and told her that I had won, she was so happy. She actually started singing. Yes. Because she was so excited. Because this for her is a very big deal. Yes.
Zulfa, what makes you awake at night? You know, in your area of practice, what really makes you awake at night? And then now you're in this position.
Sometimes the things that keep me up at night is provisions of laws that are outdated, that laws that need to be amended, that our parliamentarians have not gotten to amending, and they frustrate us in practice because you're working on something, and you're thinking this provision of the law is out of date. We need to do something about it. Yeah. Because now it's affecting my practice. Maybe, for example, there's a tribunal that works a lot, the business premises rent tribunal. This tribunal handles a lot of matters, and this tribunal often gives orders, restrictive orders. So you have a tenant, a landlord is trying to evict them, and lawfully you go to this tribunal, you get an order, then the landlord decides to ignore the order. The law requires you now to go to the magistrate's court after the tribunal to register that order and then make an application to the High Court to be able to enforce that order. So that process is very long before you can ever get to enforcing this order and seeing consequences for this landlord who is disobeying an order of a quasi-judicial body of a tribunal. So such provisions keep me up at night. Yeah,
keeps you up at night. Yes. Gloria?
Mine basically is the service to the people, and being in the Law Society of Kenya, it's more about the rule of law. Are we following, as she has said, now she's talking of a landlord not following court orders. We are talking about the government. Are they following court orders? Those are the things that really keep you at night thinking, if we do not fight this, and remember, being in the Law Society of Kenya, everyone is looking at you. They're the ones, Wanjiko is expecting that you fight for them because nobody else will fight for them the way we do. Even the judiciary is looking at us. Are we going to fight for them? The other day we saw the executive trying to interfere with the judiciary. Who stood up for them? It's the lawyers. So what actually keeps me up at night is how do we serve Wanjiko better? How do we serve the advocates better? And how we go about that. Yes.
I believe fighting, kicking them out of the profession, the unqualified quote-unquote lawyers, that keeps you awake at night. I would just guess. Any other thing that keeps you awake at night?
Yeah, the welfare of our members, the advocates. I believe man is not man without a good health. You could not have come here if you are mentally disturbed, if you are physically ill, or you are not capable. So what keeps me at night, apart from fighting quacks, it's the welfare of our members.
Right.
Welfare starts from good health. Welfare goes to the office space. How do we relate with each other, with our bosses? How do the employees and employers, how is the employee and employer relation? And above all, unifying the profession from the senior to the mid and the young. We cannot say we are going to fight for the Wanjiku if we are not unified. We cannot say we are going to fight for our spaces advocates if we are not unified.
Okay. Irene,
For
what
me-
keeps you awake at night? It's 1 a.m., but you're still awake. Think about something.
Incomplete tasks. If I have something I have not done, or I'm supposed to do but I didn't do it halfway somewhere, or maybe I forgot about it, I always wonder, is there something I can do about it? Was it an omission on my part? Did I rub somebody the wrong way? Did I maybe step on toes somewhere? Like, I'm literally always awake thinking of what is it that I could have done different.
Yes.
Yes, and that perhaps maybe think of how to actually do it better the next day, or how to approach it going forward. Yes.
My director is asking me to ask all of you, do you feel intimidated when you meet senior counsels at the bar? Zulfa. Hey, ndio huyu hapa sasa hii kesi inapotea. Do you?
No, not necessarily. Of course, we look at some of the senior councils with a lot of respect, and we are in awe of them. But once they are opposing council, when you know you're going against senior council, you spend your night preparing. You know you have to be very prepared. So, because you have to also prove to your client, do not mind that he's senior.
Yes.
I am also qualified and I have really prepared for whatever we are doing today. There's some intimidation, but we prepare for it. That is how
the
we
rule
deal
of your
with
game.
it.
You intimidate your opponent. Intimidate your opponent. Gloria.
Definitely, we do get intimidated. But let me tell you, kujiaminia. We are all advocates. There's nobody who's higher than the other one. We are all advocates of the High Court of Kenya. So as she has said, yes, we do get intimidated, but you prepare well. You prepare, you come prepared everything, so that even when you're meeting your opponent, you know they have an upper hand maybe in experience, but your law is okay, your facts are okay. So at least there you can be able to average it, and you'll be fine.
Okay, according to us, lawyers distort the truth. You take it from A, you take it to B, and then you make it look like this is a reality. So you are all trained to lie. Are you?
For lack of a better word, there's someone who said the law is an us. In the manner of, there's no yes or no answer. That's why you presume we distort the facts, but we don't. You look at the facts that are going to favor your client, you study the law effectively to aid your client's case, and you win your client's case. About seniors' intimidation, that is obvious, but it is all about perception.
Yeah.
They got there before you. It is a matter of time before you also become a senior counsel. So how do you do it? When you have a matter, you also need your client to have faith in you. You want your client to pay your fee. So you have to have so much self-belief, prepare adequately, and go and wow even that senior until they give you a very good handshake. Yes.
Irene, when you watched Kethi Kilonzo, we didn't know Kethi Kilonzo way back then, and then like that lady, how does it look for you at this particular point that you are meeting the senior counsel as they said, and here you are, you have to represent? Do you ever feel intimidated? You feel like I should just close this file and say, Your Honor, I'm out?
Closing the file is not, it's not an option. It's not an option for us. I remember the first time I went to court after my admission, and I was going to the Court of Appeal. And basically, Court of Appeal, that area is not so many advocates go to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. So I was newly admitted, and my boss had this matter, my former boss, and he told me, you are going to handle this matter at the Court of Appeal. I had not even gone to the High Court. So I started from the Court of Appeal. And I was very scared because I had never addressed a court before.
Yeah.
I only watched him do it during PPLAs. And I was worried. And I spent a whole week with my file because I was trying to understand it, read it, you know, because I had to read it so well that when the judges ask me a question, I not fumble it. And I remember my boss told me, Otto, this is your file. If you want to fumble it, it's fine. But this is where you start. Going forward, you will know how you'll be able, like, this is your first experience in this court. how they will treat you going forward, you know, how the other people, because the courtroom is full.
Yeah.
And how will the other people see you? It's their perception they take after that. It's all on you. So I really prepared. And when it was my time to address the court, even the judges agreed that I was a newbie. I was very new. But they were very gracious. And they asked me questions, and they realized I had really studied my file. Like, I knew it. For a whole week, I'd spent time on it. So I knew everything about it back and forth. So, and they were like, you really did a good job. Congratulations. Like, did you win the case? How did you find it? It went really well. Okay. And I think that's one of the things that you get like bonus points for if you win a case against a senior. It's not because you're very knowledgeable. It just shows that you're competent enough. Yeah. And you are now an advocate, and you can actually be able to take over matters and actually handle them. Yes.
How are you planning to change the entire legal fraternity? You know, with now the experience that you're bringing on board as you take reign of office, how are you going to change the entire landscape? We've seen LSK having some back and forth with the government, you know, having litigations here and there. Theory have done a good job, but with the support that you're bringing to the LSK, what are you going to do? Let me start with you, Wavinya, as a contributing factor to the legal fraternity.
As I mentioned earlier on, I will really want LSK to go back to being the noble profession it was. More often than not, do you see people on social media saying, wakili ni kizungu tu? I tell you for free, it is not just kizungu tu. We go through thorough training. We go through thorough preparation. We read. That's what we call learned friends. Yeah. You bring to me today an intellectual property matter. I will make sure I understand that. Tomorrow bring me an engineering board matter. I will make sure I'll understand that like an engineer. So it is not about kizungu nyingi. By the time my tenure is over with LSK, I will be happy and delighted if our nobility is restored.
Yes. Nobility restored. Gloria.
Yes. Personally, I think our divergence in council actually really helps. As you've heard, okay, I have maybe not mentioned, I'm the youngest. And we have also people who are advanced in the profession. So our divergence is very good that we bring each and every aspect of ourselves together to work for the lawyers. And especially young lawyers who have been, their admissions have been, is it rampant, or they have been many who have been admitted to the Law Society of Kenya for the past 2 years. So I think we need to focus on that and also expand our practice. Most of the time our practice is on litigation matters, and maybe that's succession, civil, and conveyancing. I think it's a new time that we bring new aspects of the law, that we expand the law, that we do have trainings for young advocates and expand our legal practice, because many people are coming in and the ugali ni ile ile. Yeah. So I think we need to expand our plate for everyone now to fit in and to accommodate the new numbers that are coming.
Do you think the legal profession expanding in Kenya? Are we getting better?
Yes, I think I can see hope for a legal profession. I think with the support of the Law Society of Kenya in trainings, and we had very many ideas from actually people campaigning and expanding our legal profession. We had people bringing in climate change. We had the blue economy. So I think we are headed in the right direction.
Very good.
Yes.
Zulfa.
I'm looking to see LSK devolved, including issues like public interest litigation, because most of the public interest litigation from LSK that you see, it's at the national level. Yet sometimes counties are doing things that are contra statutes, that are unconstitutional, and LSK at the branch level, we've not really taken up the public interest litigation to also check counties. So I would like to say that we check counties more at the county level and at the branch levels in terms of how things they do that are unconstitutional and are against the law. Yeah.
All right. I need to fill your cups. It's breakfast show. I need to fill your cups. And on that note, you're taking a break. I still need to ask you the challenges that you faced during the campaigns, the intimidation, the messages, the threats. Where we supposed to step down, this is going to happen. We also faced that. Ukiniuliza that hard question, we'll, We'll take a look at that when we come back shortly. Stay with us. Today is Young Learned Friends. You get that? We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So let's continue the discussion here. Today being a Wednesday, we are talking about Young Learned Friends. The LSK election was held last week, and some of the ladies, not all of them, won in their different areas of representation, and we're having that discussion here as a form of inspiration to you. So let me start with you, Zulfa. Way back in Garissa, you're practicing there, but let's bring it back home. What are some of the challenges that you faced during your campaigns? Until now, you've made it. In black and white?
Of course, the biggest challenge was finances.
Right.
Because as 6 years in practice now, I do not have a war chest. I did not have a war chest to go for this position. And I had to see how do I access as many lawyers as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Kisumu. How many days can I spend in Kisumu? And what do lawyers expect of me? I guess we've been lucky. Personally, I have been lucky. The reception was largely warm, but of course there are those people who you met and they were very cynical, and they ask you for, they have unreasonable demands of you.
Yeah.
So you have to tell them, I am a young lawyer. Honestly, I really
Accepting where I am. Right.
All I have to offer you is the promise that if elected, once elected, I will serve you diligently. I cannot give you anything as at now. Yes. So for me, that was one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gloria, perhaps it's the same script.
Well, more or less the same script. You find that now moving from one place to another, I don't know even how the president does it, like national campaigning, that you have to move here, you have to speak to advocates in this place and make sure you get to all of them. Now moving from area to area, how are you going to move? Who are you going to work with in a new town that you don't know advocates there, and you have to reach out to them. So also getting accepted in a place or finding someone who will take you there. Secondly, my biggest challenge was everyone that would see me in their office, they're like, you're too small. How are you going to serve us? But one thing I used to tell them, I have served you in Nairobi branch. If you can check the clips from how we have been arresting masqueraders, you will see me on the forefront, holding the masqueraders not to run away, for us to bring them to book. So trying to convince your fellow colleagues, especially the senior lawyers who think you're too young, because I started leadership in the Law Society of Kenya when I was 2 years in the profession. Right now I just turned 4. So convincing them that you're there to serve them and there's no ulterior motive, and you're there for service and the work that you have done. So basically that is it. And at times you would get into offices, you're asked for lunch, and you just tell them, it's my promise and the work that I have done for the Law Society that will push me forward. Yes.
There's nothing for free, right? There's nothing for free.
Unfortunately, we discovered that the hard way. There's nothing for free.
Nothing for free.
Yes. So there was the issue of youngism, especially from seniors. They'll be like, but you're too young. What do you have to offer? So again, you go back to your track record. They're like, you did all of this? Really? I'm like, okay, now you have convinced me. There's the other counterpart of, Tom Zingabana. Hey. Kiongozi, you're like, hey, do you know that actually we're doing it the same day? And unfortunately, because it's politics, there was also some aspects of the campaigning from other quarters, especially us who are young. The seniors one will feel like they deserve this space more because they have the experience. They forget it is all of us combined that we can make LSK, because we all have beautiful ideas that can be embraced. So it is just a matter of perception on how you're going to give and adduce it to the members so that they see that you're actually better suited than the senior one. and balancing between work and the campaigns.
Yeah.
Because you don't have an option. You've already put yourself out there. Your clients have to be represented. If you have a hearing, you have to seclude that day and say, I still have to do door-to-door, but I still have to attend matters. Thank God we have virtual courts nowadays.
Yeah.
At least we're able to attend court wherever we are. But I also practice criminal law. On days that I had to go to court physically, because unfortunately most criminal laws do it physically, I was lucky enough that the courts indulged me. If it wasn't for that, my clients will have told me, we are running away from you. And remember, there's the same people, through the money they're paying, that is going to support your campaigns. And being a woman, and all of us here being female, it was also the issue of security. You know, you're going to a new town, you know your colleagues, but where you're going to sleep, you're not so sure about your security. So it's a matter of just trusting God and the heavens.
Yeah.
Yes, that you'll be safe. But all in all, we thank God that we are all safe. Thank God that the serenity that we passed through, we were able to come out of it stronger.
You're hard enough.
Yes.
You're hard enough.
Yes.
Irene,
Yes.
what did you face? Your biggest challenge? Like, sasa hapa
well,
you ilikuwa normal.
Other than ageism, obviously, ageism that I'm too young, and also the fact that I met people my seniors who tell me, Otto, we have literally been here for 30 years. We've seen it all. What is this thing that you want to do for us now?
It's going to change my life.
Yes, that's going to, like, they've been in practice longer than I have been alive, you see. So asking me what is it that I'm going to do that is going to change their life, and I had to really convince them that we need each other, so that it doesn't come out rudely, in as much as they have not presented themselves for that position, and I have. At least I have the best interest of the profession at heart, and I'm going to represent all of us. And the other thing that really bothered me is bullying. People wake up in the morning and attack you for no reason, you see, simply because somebody does not like how you look. Somebody does not, will never even vote for you.
Now that is called propaganda.
Yes, yes, propaganda. And then now they turn it into something else, and they drag you for days for no reason at all. And I think that's very wrong, because we are all advocates. At the end of it, I've had people coming to me and telling me, it was just election. You shouldn't take it at heart. So you are bullying me. You're literally making my life a living hell, simply because I've offered myself for a position. And then now you want me to forgive and just move on because it was just an election. It doesn't. I just actually want to caution that going forward, it's okay to criticize me for whatever. Maybe you criticize my manifesto, my agendas, but the personal attacks on me simply because I'm vying, it shows really, it really isn't an issue about me. It's an issue about the insecurities that a person has on themselves. And now, because they do not have another outlet to vent or to take them out, they take them out on a candidate who they do not even have an issue with in the first place. So for me, the bullying issue was a very big deal. And I thought to myself, if I didn't have a strong support, I would have caved in, because it was too much. Yes. Yes.
Do you remember when it's a cliche statement that when people do not talk about you, then you have nothing to offer. You're a nobody. So
absolutely.
That the stones they threw at you, that's exactly what you used to build your foundation. So they just did, free advertisement and campaign for you. Like, okay, Sasa, all right, who is this person? So the interest literally grew to this person. That, okay, that person, I'm saying that, then perhaps there's something that she has to offer, and that's why probably you are there. Take it the other way around. Allow me to ask you this question, ladies, because now at the end of the day, you are all in the legal profession. But do you think Mwanjiku is getting well represented when we're having these court orders being, how do you call it, ignored, left, right, and center? Do you think Mwanjiku is going to get to a point and say that, okay, fine, I had my case in court, I'm satisfied? Zulfa.
The challenge we have is the executive. you know, the president, the executive, they set the standard. If the president on a podium says we are going to ignore court orders, so the next thing is your neighbor is also going to ignore the court order that tells them not to demolish your fence.
Does that kill your spirit as a lawyer, as an advocate?
No, it does not kill our spirit. It makes us want to fight, because now we have to fight more. This is our profession, that we trust. You come to me because you need me to represent you in court, and court declares your rights and gives you protections.
Yes.
And these protections are respected and even enforceable in law. But once the president says it at a podium that I will not respect court orders, then that gives impetus to your neighbor to say the same thing. And it creates chaos in the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Gloria, that actually even comes back to the Kumon Mwananchi, that, okay, I'll do whatever I can. I'll go to court. The court orders will come out and I will ignore, and life will continue. You'd imagine how chaotic this country would be if you continue to ignore court orders on a daily basis.
Yes, it will be very chaotic, and that's why we are saying we need to stand. We need to stand strong, and we need to be the courageous people to speak against such atrocities. And having that from the executive is really sad, that even it comes down to the common Wanjiko, who will not even see courts, the judiciary system, as a place to take their grievances. So they're like, this justice cannot be served.
Yeah.
Because why would I go to court if something is wronged? If I am wronged, why would I go to court? And that is why we're saying that we need to stand strong and be very courageous. If the executive is not doing its functions well, if the executive is not obeying orders, then we need to stand strong. And I think this leadership that we've been given right now, led by now the president-elect, Faith Odhiambo, I think will be there, because we have seen her fighting for it, and I think we are going to fully support her in making sure that the court orders are obeyed. And if we continue fighting for that, at least Wanjiko will have hope one day. There are people who are fighting for them. One day we will have sanity.
And what is that textbook you're going to use to bring change and hope to Mwananchi, to Wanjiko?
Now we are going to use the Constitution. We will stand by the Constitution.
Yes.
We swore by the Constitution. We took an oath to defend it, and we are continually going to take an oath to defend that Constitution. Yes.
Yes, Wavinya.
When all of us were admitted to the bar, we all took an oath to uphold the rule of law. Section 4 of the LSK Act gives the mandates of the council. And above all, it's upholding the rule of law. We have the most beautiful constitution that there's ever been in Kenya, with Chapter 4 Bill of Rights. The Mwananchi has a right. We cannot allow anarchy to reign just because we're scared of these leaders. Mwananchi is supreme with the people. We are the ones who put them there. And as LSK, we are not relenting. As Gloria has mentioned, our president-elect, we've been doing mandamanos with her. I am one big human rights activist, and I've attended so many mandamanos with her. And we will not relent, be it in the courtroom, be it through activism, be it through mobilizing members to come, be it through negotiations. We will not sit pretty and let anarchy to reign, because we are a country that is ruled by laws, a country that has a constitution, a country that depicts where the government can go and where it cannot go. So it is not a time for us to be seen as a joke, as I've asked. Are we a joke? No, we are not. We need to follow the laws.
We need to follow the laws.
And the Mwananchi, we are urging Mwananchi to have faith in us as LSK Council, because we will keep on fighting until the day the government will realize enough is enough. Mwananchi needs to be respected, because it is Mwananchi who put them there. Article 2, Mwananchi is supreme. Our preamble, we the people of Kenya are supreme. So let us always remember that. Let that always ring in our heads. And I want to urge our Wanjiko out there, be abreast of your rights. Fear not. Our offices are at Gitanga Road. Fear not. Visit Gitanga Road. If you have any complaint, visit Gitanga Road. Let them know how best we can help them. Because unfortunately, most of us, we suffer the issue of ignorance. Something is happening. We are not talking about it, but we expect results. Please talk about it. Join the force. Let your voice be heard, because that is the only way we can do the change.
That's the only way we can do the change. I like that. Irene?
Yes. Personally, I believe that, you see, these roadside declarations, do not mean anything, because if it's not there in our laws, then it's not there. A roadside declaration will not cure that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that LSK has always been and continues to be firm. Even with the new leadership that we have, we are very hopeful. And of course, it's a new era for us. And people, we are excited, as is everybody else. People want to see which way we will go, whether we will, whether we will triumph, and whether we will be able to, of course, maintain being firm and bold the way we have been. And trust me when I say that it's going to be better. Because right now somebody said we are not living in normal times. And I believe them when they say so.
Yeah.
And I actually believe that, you see, from what Tess is saying, if you do not know something, then if somebody told you something else that's contrary to what you already do not know, you tend to believe it. And that's why I bring in the issue of you media. When a matter goes to court, the misreporting, let's start from there, is what usually lead to like maybe an uproar of some event. So sometimes maybe we feel like we need to read first before we report it, because some of these judgments are not the way they are reported. And that's where sometimes the problem starts with. Also, I also believe that we will not stop going to court simply because the executive does not obey. We will continue going. In fact, they will get tired. Eventually now, we'll have a situation where even you remember there was a time that there was some little of upheaval between the executive and the judiciary. Right. And you went to the Mwananchi. Yes, and you went to the Mwananchi and you asking them what it, and they were very categorical. They were saying, let the executive leave the judiciary to perform its functions. I believe they understand, and they understand the separation of powers. And this is where we come in. If the executive becomes excessive, we do not care where it leads. We are still going back to court. We have a constitution that is supreme, and we intend on upholding it to our last breath. Yes, thank you.
All right. You talked about something. Let me just put on that.
Yes.
The separation of power is there in the constitution, but
yes,
where do they come together? Even when they come together, they don't clash.
There is independence and interdependence. They work separately, but they are also able to link with each other in, especially when they are, so that we have a functioning government. Whereas we know that this is what the judiciary is supposed to do. This is what the executive is supposed to do. This is what the legislature is supposed to do. So that if, like right now, if the executive, for example, goes into excess, tries to interfere with what the judiciary is supposed to, they want the judiciary to rule in a certain way. Yeah. That is interference. Let the judiciary perform its function. I saw some member, I don't know whether he's a CS or going somewhere and telling this woman, we will uproot this structure, it's on your land. How is he able to know whose land this is? If the matter is in court, why not leave the land court to decide whose land this is, so that whatever happens now, the court will give directions on what to go. But you as a CS going there and working with these people, those are roadside declarations that I was talking about. And if a common Mwananchi sees that, and they actually imagine that the CS is going to help them, but when you go, personally, if it's my land and then I go to court and they have to, the court says that it's my land, then I'll have to evict them from that property. How has that CS helped them? Yeah. It's just PR, and it does not help them at all.
Yes. I'm sure we are running out of time, but let me ask you this question, ladies. The femicide that is happening across, it's a worrying trend. The government is out there, even us as media, we've campaigned against femicide, and we continue to talk about it. International Women's Day coming up on Friday. Let me start with you, all of you. What do you make of that? Who is failing? You and I, government, who? An individual responsibility?
There's collective failure as a society. Right. And then there's the individual responsibility of the particular men. When I think of femicide, I remember a story a number of years ago where a lady studying at the university, studying medicine, was hacked with with a shocker, if I'm not wrong, by a boyfriend. Or was it?
This was somewhere in Eldoret.
Yes, somewhere in Eldoret. And what worried me were the comments from the men. And the comments were, yes, akikula pesa yako kata na shoka, you know. And it was all across, even from people that I had a lot of respect for. So the message is, how do you, as men and women, how do we interact in a society? That it is okay in certain circumstances to use extreme violence against a woman. And then when these incidents occur, the next thing you hear is blaming the victim. Why was she there? Why was she? Yet at the same time, we are supposed to interact with men in this society. Are you telling us to completely stay away from men? Because no one has on their face written potential murderer, right?
Nobody.
Yes. So this whole idea that part of the society has normalized violence against women and even acts of extreme violence in retaliation from jilted lovers and also from intimate relationships. That is a big problem. Then of course there's the individual problem of the people who now act on their worst impulses.
Yeah. Somebody said that we are lacking morals as a society, Gloria, and that is worrying.
It's actually very worrying, and I think this trend has not been here. It's not new. We remember, there are some southern parts of America that femicide was declared, like it was really big, that the government was not doing anything, and the actually Court of Human Rights declared that the government had actually failed. And I see that's where we are going as a country. The women are not being protected, measures are not being put, and now they resort to blaming the woman, which is not the case. Right now, I think we need to be very firm and condemn these acts very seriously and hold the people accountable. And I think we should now take harsh measures for even people who even dare to think of doing such acts. They will think twice about it and refrain from it. But I think I have not seen the seriousness from the state and the measures that they are taking, they are actually putting to stop femicide. I think we are headed in the wrong trajectory on that issue. And I think we should not keep, we should not be silent about it. I think let's keep fighting until this is done. Because the day we keep quiet is the day also the government keeps quiet. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, Jess.
Thank you. Back then, women were not empowered enough to do things, to even take up leadership positions. And as a society, we took up a collective responsibility to ensure that. What has happened to the boy child? Why are we shifting the blame to the victim, who's the female who's been killed? As Zulfa has mentioned, as a society, what measures have we taken? As a state, what measures have we taken? What policies? Nothing. We have failed as a society on issue femicide. We have failed as a society because collectively we have not sat down and said, this has been happening. It should actually be declared like one of the biggest disasters currently, because it is a disaster. We cannot be singing the same song, going on the streets, and we're not taking measures. When I participated in that walk, and that's where we actually heckled our current women Passaris, Honorable Passaris. She's been with us, we've done walks with her, but what measures has she put there as a parliamentarian? She represents us women specifically. Has she fronted a bill? Has she fronted a policy? Nothing. Have the men take up the responsibility of ensuring that they're going to educate the boy child on this is also a human being. Respect them. A no is a no. You don't have to force issues. The lady who was killed in Eldoret, when men were celebrating saying, alikula pesa yake, she deserved it. Who said because someone has given you money, they have to give in? Who said it is a transaction and it has to end in death? So as a society, we need to take up the mantle. We need to act now. We need to put up measures, be it from empowering both the victims and the perpetrators, be it from punitive measures on the perpetrators, and above all, having good psychiatric centers for the victims. Because most of them actually don't come out, especially who are abused and assaulted and it did not reach to death. They don't come out. We always condemn them. But what measures have we taken?
what majority can. And I feel like as a man, I feel like I'm attacked directly on behalf of men. I feel attacked. Irene,
Yes, personally.
the latest one is being a 19-year-old lady
Yes.
who, I think over the weekend,
Yes.
Yeah.
from 10th floor.
Exactly.
I can't imagine. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, personally, I feel like we have failed the girl. We have failed the girl child, and in a number of ways, and this is just one of them. And the fact that somebody would feel entitled to my life is something that we need to address, because if you invite me on a date, how is it that if I refuse to go home with you now, you want to butcher me? Because I ate some food in a restaurant that I could actually afford on my own. So it's the thing that I want to say men are entitled. They feel like they own you, they own me. You know, I do not have a life of my own, so that they can do whatever they want with me. And people just say, oh, what was she doing there? What was she doing in that house? When this girl walked into that apartment, did she imagine that she was going to die? Would you walk into your own death? I do not think so. So then I feel like we have failed, and more needs to be done, and we need to talk more about it. You know, we need to have these discussions more and more, so that even our brothers, because it's for our brothers, our cousins, our uncles, they are our sons. They know that this is wrong, but they still do it because they know they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Friday, International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Kongole kwenu, congratulations for winning. What does this remind you? 1 minute. As you thank your voters, your people. You had a long time. This is your camera in 20 seconds, kindly.
Well, as International Women's Day approaches, of course, we celebrate women in leadership.
Yes.
That our voices are also the voices of diversity. We hope to enrich leadership everywhere that we go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, Gloria.
Yes, I believe. Actually, congratulations to every woman who's alive and
living. Camera here.
Yes, living this experience. So mine is just to encourage you to continue with the great work, and just to keep fighting for another day and for a beautiful future tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Advocate. Mtetezi ya wanyonge. Okay, go ahead. That's your camera.
Happy International Women's Day to all the women out there in your various capacities. I want to congratulate you for all that you're doing, be it in leadership, being housewives, being in corporate. And I want to encourage the young girls who are below us that it is possible. Whatever you believe in, it is achievable. Just find the right circle and you'll achieve it. Just find the right circle and achieve it. Irene. You said you're the youngest. Gloria says she's the youngest, you're also the youngest, so I'm confused.
She's the youngest.
She's the
youngest.
I'm second young.
Okay,
so,
your last word, kindly.
For me, I'd say that I will never forget that because of somebody else, I'm here today.
Yes.
A woman somewhere decided that they needed to be in the boardroom. They needed to be included in the table. And because they took the first step, and for that, just for them imagining that they could be there and taking the initiative, we are here today, and we are able to have the equal rights with men, because initially women were lesser beings.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm eternally grateful. And this is the sign for...
I got it this time.
Yes,
People usually make it this way. I don't know how, but
this is a sign for inclusion.
Power to the women. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming in. Congratulations for winning in your different areas of representation. Go there and serve your people with valor, right? Yes. Absolutely. Okay, we love you people. Thank you so much. And for men, I've taken the beating on your behalf. I mean, really, what did we cast on the men's conference? I don't have to do this. Zulfa, Roble, thank you so much for coming. She's Upcountry representative. I have Gloria Kimani, Nairobi representative elect, all right? And I have Teresia Wavinya, who is also general member, LSK, and Irene Otto, Akoth, who is also the Nairobi representative elect. Thank you so much for coming to the show. That was our day today. We are taking a break, but when we come back, we are still continuing. Vivian is coming back with another lady. Women at the forefront. Today is about women. Hey, we are good people. Stay with us. We'll be right back.